I grew up kind of thinking this was a scary passage. Fire, division. I kind of liked my parents. I didn't want to be divided from them. I didn't want, kind of like my brother and sister. Well, it depends on how old we were. There were moments when, that's just the way that it goes. Maybe you don't have siblings, and maybe you've never had challenges with your siblings, and if you haven't, 2 thumbs up to you. But I'm not that guy. So now we have wonderful relationships because we live far away from each other. That's not true either. We have wonderful relationships because we come to appreciate our different gifts. It's a wonderful thing. But when you look at this passage, it seems to be all filled with kind of judgmenty stuff. It feels like, and when we think of fire, we think of those biblical images that are drawn from Gehenna, which was the trash place outside of town, where they burned the trash. And so Jesus constantly refers to Gehenna, the place of the burning. And in our own minds, we've created this image of hell with hellfire and damnation and all of that kind of stuff. So we hear fire and we think, yes, sweep through there and wipe out everybody who's not me. Yes, I'm on the good side, everybody else, maybe not so much. I don't think that's what this passage is about at all. I don't think it is at all, because in first century culture, the idea of fire was not a bad thing. Fire on a cool night, and it's a desert country, where this material is happening, Israel, it's a desert country. So at night, it's cold. It's hot during the day, blazing kind of hot, and then at night, it becomes very cold. I spent a little time in Israel, after I was ordained, the bishop took a group of us to go to Israel and see it. And if you were outside at night, it was very cool, sometimes even cold. So the idea of fire and warmth was really good. The word that is used here is also a word that means passion. Fire is the purifying force. It's not the judgment force. It's what burns away the excess, the dross. If you use fire to purify gold, you're getting and separating the pieces, the impurities from it. Maybe that's why it feels like judgment, to burn away the things that maybe we're fond of in our lives. I don't know, there are habits and things that I do in my life that I've become fond of. As I've gotten older, some of them, my doctor has told me, perhaps I should do a little less of. I'm fond of red meat. Nope, no more, my doctor says. So, yay! I'm glad to see that go. My doctor said, how many cups of coffee do you drink a day? I don't know, 6 or 8. 6 or 8, what size? 12 ounce. Doesn't everybody drink out of a 12 or a 12-ounce cup? What do you balance the 96 ounces? I drink 96 ounces of water too. There are things that need to be passed over in our lives. Now, those are things that are related to health, but there are perhaps habits or ways that we treat other people that need to be burned away in our life. So when Jesus said, I came to bring fire, I came to bring transformation, I came to bring passion, I came to bring love for all humanity, how I wish I could be baptized. The word baptized really means to be immersed, to be under, to be absorbed within. How I wish I were part of that transformation, fully engaged. And I wish you were too. You can hear the echoes of Jesus saying, let that passion take a hold of you, a passion for a world that needs love, that needs hope. Look around you in the world in which we live. Sometimes it feels as though hope is gone, that love is no longer present. Even cordiality. Now, of course, in Falls Church, everyone I pass by on the street speaks to me. I speak back to them, or I usually speak to them, and then they speak back to me. There have only been 2 or 3 examples. I've counted them on one hand. So, if I live here long enough, I guess maybe it'll go beyond one hand. And I didn't call fire down from heaven on them to passionately change them. Think about the images of fire in the Bible. When the Israelites were wandering in the desert. They were led by a pillar of fire a pillar of cloud during the day and a pillar of fire at night. Think of the bright light that fire brings out. I don't know how many of you have ever been camping and sat around a campfire and watched, in the middle of the wilderness where it's dark like you've not seen normally anywhere in Northern Virginia, because we have lots and lots of light pollution. But where it's really dark and all the skies, the stars are available to be seen, and you look into the fire and you can feel the warmth from it, you can see the light from it, and that light makes a difference in our lives. We need light to see where we're going. We need warmth to be kindled within us so we can feel passionately about the neighbor who needs our love more than ever. Some of the most hateful people we know are the people who need love more than anybody else. It's hard to love them. It's just hard. If you joined Christianity or started this path of Jesus thinking it was going to be an easy skip, skipping down, let's skip around, I have bad news for you. I can't skip. That was obvious, but it's not about skipping. It's actually about the hard work. It's the hard work of getting to know one another, of investing ourselves in caring for people whose very words or thoughts or way of chasing after life stand in opposition to everything we think and believe. Somehow, those very people, whoever they are, need to be loved. They need to be transformed. And that's it. We're always sure that they need to be transformed. Can we just be honest with each other? I'm not the one that needs to be transformed. I mean, look at what my gig is. I already know what I'm doing. I know the Bible. I wear cool clothes. Multicolored stoles that change from week to week. Yeah, I got it together. But you all, that's why I'm preaching. Because you need to hear it, baby. We all need transformation. The transformation of God is something that just as soon as we think we've arrived, calls us out to be more transformed. What I find as I work through the various habits in my life, the challenges in my life, just as soon as I've worked one out, another one that I wasn't paying any attention to is right there, needing to be fixed, needing to be burned away in my life. I mean, the question that this passage asks of us is, what is it in your life that needs to be burned away? Is there some aspect of the way you're living that needs to be burned away to be pure, to plant new seeds into your life? I mean, there is we all think wildfires are a bad thing and lots of burning is not a good thing. But there are actually a whole set of pine trees that only release their seeds when burned. They only their cones only open up to let the seeds go when in fire. I was reading about it, and it seemed, now of course, because it has slipped from my brain what they're called, but something about they're pines. I don't know which version, but they release their seeds in fire. We sometimes, in the midst of our being burning away the dross in our life, the extras that don't matter, the little differences that we make big, when we let go of those, when they're burned away, suddenly new seeds of relationship and possibility can be planted. God is always inviting that kind of change in our lives, that kind of passion in our lives. Passion is not a bad thing. We think of agape love in the church, that unconditional love. And yes, God's all about it. But if you don't think God is passionately in love with you, you're missing out on the truth. God chases after you. The end of Psalm 23, surely goodness and mercy will chase after you. It's not just follow you around. Chase after you all the days of your life. God is passionate for you and invites you to be passionate about the world God loves. God doesn't see political parties and think one's right and one's wrong. God sees people. God sees people whose lives need to be filled with love and hope and need to challenge anything that stands against it. Need to stand up for that kind of love. You know, we talk sentimentally about love as if it's just a warm, fuzzy feeling that you get at a romantic dinner with candlelight and, say, lobster tails, and some delicious, perhaps, green beans, almondine, and a nice glass of, white as we sit across from one another, and those warm feelings accumulate, whatever. And that's warm fuzzies can be nice. But love requires the work of our hands and our feet. It requires us to listen to one another, even when we don't want to hear what the other is saying, when it's hard to hear. It's hard to hear people struggling in pain. But one of the most important things they need is to be heard, people in pain. So we listen, not because it's easy, but because it is hard, and because that's what love looks like. It's the hard work of living our lives as fully as we can from the deep passion and illumination that is kindled within. The tail end of this passage says we're not very good at seeing what time it is. We can look off in the distance to see a cloud coming and assume that it might be coming our way and that it's going to rain later today. And that's great. But we don't see what time it is, how urgent it is, how pregnant this time is with possibility. Oh, I'll do that tomorrow. Oh, I'll love someone tomorrow. Oh, I'll stretch myself tomorrow. Today, now. Jesus wishes the fire would be kindled now, he says. Oh, how I wish it were kindled now. Oh, I wish my people would be set on fire with the love of God and remember how important we all are to each other and to the world that needs the good news. That's our work. We bear the good news. That's why we hang out in this space on Sunday morning. I know it's cool and we often eat really delicious food at the end. That's nice enough. A couple of weeks from now, we're going to have a cookout. If you want to stay, you should sign up. Maybe you could bring something. But those cool hanging out times are nice to encourage us and help us build up our strength and our fellowship. But then we go out into the world, and tomorrow, young people like Kyle and older than Kyle and younger than Kyle are going to school. And they're in the crucible of what it's like to be in a classroom with people who are different than they are. Most of us are going back to work tomorrow. Maybe you're going to work today. I don't know. Am I working now? I don't know. We are going to be engaged with a world of people, some who think just like we do, some who don't, some who love like we do, and some who don't. Our call is to love. Our call is to be transformed and impassioned by a God who is so madly, wildly in love with us that he came in person for us to see and used the lips of Jesus to teach us the truth. Oh, how I wish the fire of God were kindled in us right now, and the world might be transformed through all that we do and all that we are and everywhere that we go. So, take an opportunity this week. What are the things that need to be burned away in your life? The things that keep you from loving? Do you feel a passion about what God's calling you to do? What can you do about living that passion? Not just having it. It's nice to have a warm, fuzzy feeling for people in Appalachia, but we send teams every year to make a difference. What will you do? How will God make that passion manifest in your life? And maybe last or first you ought to do is pray for that fire of God in your life, the fire you need to live as people of God. That would be my challenge to you as we enter into this week together. It's my challenge to me. Can we be honest? It's just as hard for me as it is for you, cool robes or not, to try to be people of faith. Let's see what we can't do this week, what we can't be, who we can't love. It's time now in our worship experience when we receive our morning